Homies, where a group of friends play, review, and share about all things board games. Sitting around the table today are
Reed,
Becky,
Gillian,
and I'm Angela. Today we'll be talking about the phenomenal number of games we have unplayed, aka don't call it a shelf of shame because shame would require me to not feel dead on the inside. But first, what's bringing you joy?
definitely not that comment.
I was in a certain place when I wrote it.
I think that we all have a special place in our hearts for Love Letter Batman. And we recently played it, which is supposed to be like a 15-minute game. I didn't remember how long it was, but it was definitely not 15 minutes. But it brings me so much joy to play that with you guys.
I love that game. That is the version of Love Letter that Becky and I ended up buying way back when. And I'm really glad that you two, well, I guess board game homies, getting together really revitalized Love Letter for us. So that game's gotten a lot of play. And yeah, I love that each game goes down to the wire for us. Like, there's never a runaway winner. It's always like one or more or two or more people are at that need one more point to win.
Yeah, I feel like I've moved away from social deduction games, and that is kind of a deduction game because you're trying to figure out what cards and who has what, and it's just brings me a lot of joy. It's a simple card game we pull out. I feel like when our brains are really tired, we're like, oh, Gillian's like, I have to go to bed, and we're like, but what if? And he's like, okay, we'll stay. And then it's like 45 minutes later, because they never end. And I think what's hard about that too, and I have much appreciation for Reed, who got me a copy, is it's out of print, and so they have lots of different Love Letter versions. But I think about that game for the homies, and then I think about Adventure Time Love Letter is like Reed, even though you guys had a copy, still have a copy.
We didn't own that as a result of us purchasing. I think you got that from some means.
I purchased it for a board game club of kids at a school, but then I left that job and I took all the board games with me.
Wow.
Thank you, because I love that game.
Okay, but why is there always one person who gets the 8 throughout the whole game?
Yeah, and then somehow that person just keeps giving it to somebody else. That was me. That's what happened. Reed kept giving me the Joker, and I was like, no, stop.
I love when Reed changes cards with somebody and gives them a Batman, and then they're able to just guess the card that she got through Two-Face.
Okay, but sometimes there's not an option when you're holding on to the Joker, which Reed often is.
What I don't understand is how I'm really, really, really bad at that game. Like, bad at the memory, bad at everything, yet I win a lot.
That's a weird flex for everyone. Guys, I actually have no idea how I win. You guys really suck.
She's not wrong.
She's nodding, yeah.
My favorite story from that whole thing, we might have told it on the pod before, but there was one game where the three of you all had like 3 or more points, and Reed looked over at me and said, like, where are your bat signals, Gillian? And then I proceeded to just score, like, win round after round after round until I got to 6 out of the 7 points. Reed ended up winning, but it was very gratifying to just have that flex there of, hey, don't make fun of me. That gives me a superpower.
I know that was actually at that moment where I was like, okay, smack talking Gillian during a game just makes him do better. So then I stopped at that point.
Yeah, it gets stronger. It's weird. The game/thing, because it's a thing, it's a feeling, it's a policy decision. The thing that's bringing me joy is that the tariffs coming off of our last episode, again, things change by the time I say this. They're probably back to 10,000%. But the tariffs have gone back down in the United States to 20 or 30% at this point.
30%.
30%, great. From 0 to 30%. That seems fair. But what I appreciated is the moment that deal was struck, I got a ton of Kickstarter notifications telling me my games were now on the way. And so I had like given up all hope. And I was like, this is great. My games are actually going to come in. So that gives me some joy that the pipeline of games coming in and the hope that I have for small publishers and for the holiday season will not hopefully be interrupted. So yeah, I'm excited for things not being as terrible, only slightly terrible.
Yeah, I'm still fairly pessimistic about the whole outlook just because it's only a 90-day pause. And there's been a mad dash for all the all the folks doing Kickstarters and having shipments held, they're all just trying to get passage from China to the US in that 90-day window, so they don't have to pay the tariffs or the extremely high tariffs. But 30% is nothing to scoff at either, and so I think it's still going to have a very detrimental effect overall. But it could be worse. It could still be at that 145%.
Yeah, and it does incur, like you just said, a bunch of people are trying to ship now, so shipping rates are going up because it's supply and demand to get boats to come over. So thank you for raining on my parade.
You're welcome.
They should make a boat game about this.
Oh my God.
They do. It's called Containers.
Oh.
Is it mixed with American policy? Is it
No.
hegemony meets shipping?
No, it's a game about container ships.
We have got to make that game. Reed just said that we need to make a game and become famous and make a lot of money so we can retire.
I think we just talked about how making board games doesn't necessarily make you a lot of money.
Stop!
I think it does the opposite. I don't think they make a lot of money.
Also, who's going to want to play that game?
Nobody.
Maybe in 5 years, 10 years, when it's a distant memory.
Anyway, Becky, what's your joy game? I mean, come on, bring us up.
It's this game we're making.
Yeah, so it's hegemony.
Meets containers.
Which is on the unplayed list, I'll have you know.
No, spoilers.
My real joy game is Spires and Hildegard. I'm pretty sure this has been my joy game once before, but this game, Gillian recently pulled it off the shelf for us to play, and so I'm very excited about that because we'll play through the first deck, or chapter 1, I think, and then it'll get put away and we'll forget what's happening. But because we have a lot of new games, Gillian is searching for shelf space. And so he's like, we got to play this game, which is what I've been waiting for. But this game is a card game adventure. It tells you a story of Hildegard, and it unfolds card by card. I really enjoy it, and I'm excited.
Is it like a legacy style game where once you've discovered the story, that's kind of the end, or is there replayability?
There's some replayability, but it's very much a choose your own adventure. You draw from a deck, and depending on your choices you make or events that happen, you may draw this card versus this card. So you kind of look up the card number to draw it and see what happens. And so there are 3 chapters overall. We've only made it through the first chapter, but you could replay it. I don't know what the replayability is really like, though, once you make it through the story, if the end scenarios are very similar or if it varies quite a bit. But it's Hildegard itself is a 1 to 2 player game. The original game, Spire's End, is just a single player game. It's a solo game. But Hildegard came out, and you can play as Hildegard and her sister together and do co-op and have encounters and the adventure. Yeah, very much looking forward to freeing up space on our shelf.
No, you mean playing that game.
No, I am. I will say it's weird in that those type of games I usually enjoy, but Hildegard, I feel like I do like it, but I didn't like it as much as I thought, and so I think that's maybe the hang up for me in terms of finishing it. And of course, putting it away and then forgetting how to play is always a hurdle that you have to overcome. So
If I'm remembering correctly, I don't think the rule book is very good, and I think that's part of the reason why we take so long to relearn it and then actually play it, and then like you said, it takes forever, so then we have to relearn with this not so great rule book.
Yeah. My joy game is one that we finally got played this last week, and that is Endeavor Deep Sea. Endeavor Deep Sea is a game where you take on the role of oceanographers of sorts, where you're going and exploring the depths of the ocean. You hire specialists to help give you more actions to do and get more submarines to explore the depths, do conservation to get up the impact track to get victory points. And it's a game that I actually really liked a lot, and I think all of us really liked it. And I will say I liked it more than I thought I would. But I ended up buying the game at the end of last year after a lot of people had it on their kind of top 10 lists for 2024. And I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to getting more plays of it.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can do a episode review of the game, because I also enjoyed it, and I had felt a little mixed when you bought it. I was like, do I not? I had heard pieces. I don't know that the theme resonated with me. And then when we got it to the table, I was like, this is fun. I like this. I like flipping over tiles and exploring new spaces. I was not very good at it in our first game, so I'm looking forward to playing it again. And I was like, this is nice. And then Becky tried to bully us to make it all our joy game, but it brings me joy, so I'm glad it's your joy game this week.
I was just saying that all four of us were excited to play it again, and we were talking about when are we going to play it next. So I was more like, oh my gosh, what if it was all of our joy game?
You don't tell me what brings me joy, Becky. I say my own joy here.
I'll say notably, it's like one of the very few games all four of us have played together in a while. So I feel like that might have played into it as well.
I really, really liked it. That's all I have to say. I liked it. I hope we talk about it more sometime. I was really sad. I'm sorry.
Are you sad, Reed?
Are you okay? Maybe I'm sad that we're just not playing games right now.
Yeah, we're in a lulsies, I think, because you have a new job, work is busy, and our lives have been really complicated. There's a lot of stuff going on. But I also was looking at my stat app, and that's a thing that I think will bring me joy, is that I get to come over here and play a bunch of games, even though Reed can't. And then we're going to do Memorial Day games, which by the time you hear this, we will have already played it. So think of the joy we've had already, and have a barbecue and play some Galactic Cruise. So maybe the joy that we all share is playing games together.
Absolutely.
I mean, that goes without saying.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's okay.
I was going to say gross. But it's really true.
There is a shelf in my life full of games I've not yet played. Some are older than others, but when I look at them, I feel excitement and regret and shame and hope and joy. Which brings us to today's topic. Shelf of shame, or if you're feeling positive, shelf of opportunity. Let's start by embarrassing ourselves. The homies have not 1, not 2, not 14, not 27, not 60, but 66 unplayed games. Guys, my gosh. Let's start with, why did we buy these games and how did we get here?
bought these games because we love games, obviously.
Podcast over.
Wow, you guys are just like all so quiet.
I think they want you to start with
Okay, fine. Fine. I will start. Like I said, I bought these games because it brings me joy. However, the purchasing habits, largely of myself, have far outpaced our ability to play them. And in order to review games, we often play games multiple times, and so we can't always give into the cult of the new, or I should say get the cult of the new played as frequently as we would like to. So I would say really just the buying of games, largely because I've been very interested in the mechanics or mechanisms of games and how they look, and then just not getting them played fast enough to keep up with the purchasing.
There definitely have been some concerns about when are tariffs starting, have they started? And so there was a lot of game purchasing in January and early February, trying to get them before tariffs. And then also, and then also a lot have been going out of print. And so I know Gillian talked about at least a few that he purchased because they're no longer printing it. And so he wanted to get a copy.
Yeah, and I think it might be prudent to talk about the balance of the 66, because it is very embarrassing that we are like, 2/3 of that number? Becky and I are 2/3 of that number. We're at about 45 games, I think, of the 66, which is very embarrassing. And when I took that number down, I was shooketh, as Angela would say. But then before we recorded the pod, I was kind of looking at which games I purchased when, and certainly like 20 of those new games came in the past 3 months. And I think it was a lot of the games are going out of print, the tariffs are coming into play, so I want to buy them before they're going to be hard to get and more expensive. And so I thankfully had the ability to do that financially, and so I just went ahead and went for it. And one of those games, for instance, is Trajan. And it's a game I've always been interested in, just never prioritized purchasing it, but I noticed it was out of print, and was really only on one site, and so I went ahead and I just purchased it. So there were a couple instances like that definitely kind of catered to my FOMO, I suppose, and ended up buying the game to make sure I got it before it was hard to get.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons why my shelf of, I consider it like a shelf of opportunity if it's within maybe like 3 or 4 months from when I've bought it. And then I start feeling the not great feelings when it's gone past those 3 or 4 months. So then I'm like, geez, when am I going to play this? And then it becomes really overwhelming. And some of the reasons I have bought things is, one, I kind of blame the podcast a little bit. I do like buying new games and being like, this would be really fun to feature. And that's why I'm like, ooh, did Gillian get this game? Because I was going to think about getting it. And I was like, this would be great. I think other people might enjoy this game. So sometimes I use the podcast as an excuse, for one. And then two, you guys know me, I freaking love a sale. And if something goes on sale, I'm like, oh, $10, I will get this game played. And it'll make me go and not make me, I make me, but I just have grown up my whole life trying to get a deal. And so if I see something, I'm like, this is for me.
Yeah, I definitely do not have 45 games on my unplayed shelf or under my bed, wherever I hide my games. But a number of them are because they were on sale or used. So like On Mars, I got used. Troya, I got super, super cheap, still in package, and Stamp Swap as well, which I forgot about until after I was like, wrote my list and then looked in my closet. I was like, oh. So those were on sale. A few of them have been like recommendations. So a couple to play with my kiddo, Power Grid, which I'm excited to play soon. And then the one game that I think I just went out on and explored, Moon Colony Bloodbath, which I believe I've talked about. I'm really excited about that, but that was one of the only that I was like, I'm excited. I don't know who I'm going to play it with, but I'm going to get it. And I just am really drawn to that. So, yeah.
A sale, man. We can't turn it down. Or that used shelf. Mm-mm.
What about you, Becky? I mean, come on.
Yeah, Becky.
Well, I don't take very much responsibility for the games that have been purchased for my household. I am sometimes consulted, and then Gillian takes it however he wants to.
Yes, but Becky, you also, we've learned as we've been digging into this, are an egger honor. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Of the new Becky.
Okay, I knew that was going to come up when I said that I didn't take responsibility. That is different. You know what? Somebody has to make room for all these games Gillian is buying.
You're just making room for more games.
Yeah, and I think you're in love with an upgrade.
I do love an upgrade, and that's Gillian's fault.
That's a lot of
Jeez,
blame.
you're blaming everything on
I
me.
blame you for that too. When I open a game,
Yes.
I'm sad that it's not upgraded.
Oh my gosh, guys. You can use one type of coin for all the games.
Absolutely not.
Dragon coins.
No.
The dragon coins are great.
They're
I'm glad
fun.
you found them.
Okay.
For space games.
Then you should use them for brass.
Absolutely, I will.
You will not.
good.
No,
Oh,
no, you
God.
will not.
You're welcome. Now you put it in my head
Okay, I'm sorry. That should count as my unused shelf.
that you've not used your clay.
400 or 800 iron clays. What
I
do you have?
accidentally bought the big thing of iron clays without really thinking that I don't have any games that use coins.
Wait, so you did you buy the 800?
I bought whatever the biggest.
Oh my goodness! And you have no games
Those
that
are
use
literally
coins.
under my bed in a huge.
No, Power Grid now.
Yeah, power grids like that.
Which is on my unplayed list.
I still think you could.
Am I the problem? I'm a problem.
We're all the problem.
Well, speak for yourselves, guys. Dragon coins forever.
No. We do need space coins.
Ugh. But hearkening all the way back to what Gillian said, something resonated with me, which is, the end of the year comes and folks put out their best of lists, and there is this immediate feeling of FOMO, like, oh my gosh, so many people have raved about fill in XYZ game. And then that makes you look into the game, then you look into the mechanisms, and often these lists are coming on the tail end of Essenspiel. And so you're like, cool, all of these games are releasing, then they're going on people's top lists, and there's this glut of games that happen, and it's weird to feel like you're behind. You're like, oh my god, there's so many great games, I need to buy them all to play them. And so not that I blame influencer culture, because I don't care, but I do then get to see a glut of games that I want to play and get interested in because that content is everywhere. So I think that adds to it too.
Yeah, and adding to that is that really affected me, and I think us as a whole, is, you know, a lot of people came out with their top lists last year, but a lot of those weren't available in the US until early this year. And so like Saltfjord and SETI, I think I managed to get the very tail end of last year, but they weren't broadly available until 2025. And so there were a lot of them like that as well that I think played into it. And so getting that interest peaked at the end of 2024, and then once they became available, just taking the plunge into them because of that interest.
I mean, speaking of Eggers On, I definitely benefit from you all nerding out about what the hot games are and then just being like, oh, I can't wait until I get to play them, because you all bring them to the table.
Yeah, and I think there's also a piece of this that's kind of like collecting. You know, I think I've talked about coming from a comic book background and a collectible like baseball card background, is that you want to kind of collect everything. And I've realized this year, as I've been getting into more trick taking and small box Japanese games, is that those games are much harder to find. And so when you do find them, or you hear about a small box game, I think about Torchlit, where you're like, I better jump on this now. Yeah, maybe the game will be readily available and you are being a fool. But as we saw demonstrated, there aren't many copies of Torchlit out there to get. And so then you feel justified by being able to get the thing. And then you have it and you've collected it. And you're like, yes, got to catch them all like Pokemon. And so I do think there's a little bit to what the availability is of games and that fear that you're not going to get it. And I just look at Tanuki Games, and there's games on there that I really like. And I've put rebuy notifications, like if this ever comes in stock, I want it, send me a note. But that just feels like a funnel to getting games onto my shelf.
Yeah, and I will say to that point about the small box Japanese games, looking over at my shelf, there are 5 of them that are Japanese, like Trick Takers, Climber Shutters, that are on my shelf of shame / opportunity, that I did take the plunge because I was worried they were going to be hard to get and out of print. And sure enough, I ended up buying the black edition of Tichu, which is a very classic game. Is it Climber Shutter? Is that kind of what it is?
Climber Shutter.
Climber Shutter game. And I just saw on, what is it? Tricky Imports, it's out of stock now. So like I ended up buying one of the last copies of it. And you can't find it anywhere else online, at least that I could find. So that kind of just reinforces that, oh, geez, I better buy it while it's available kind of mentality.
Okay, so we did this thing where I said, let's put them all in a list, and then you guys send me your top 5 games from these 66 that you want to play and rank them. And we're going to reveal, nobody knows what they are. We're going to reveal what those top 3 games from our lists are. So we made top 5s. I gave them a numerical value, and now here's the top 3 that nobody knows about for all of those games, kind of like we did in our best of series. So the game with the coming in third place, Baseball Highlights 2045.
What?
Okay.
What?
Feels kind of judgy over there.
Oh.
Okay, that's a game. I talked about it. It was my joy game.
Yeah, but it's third on this list?
Yes,
It got 2 votes at least.
absolutely.
Why are you excited for this read?
Because I listened to our podcast and Angela made it sound so good.
Robots, Gillian, robots. Hello.
Futuristic sports ball?
Yeah, totally.
I
How
am
many innings are there in
excited.
baseball, Reed?
A standard one is 9.
Okay, good job. Good.
Thank you. Go Giants.
Thank you, Reed.
I don't actually know your background in baseball. You just never talk about sports, so I assumed.
I was going to say 7.
Okay.
Oh,
Becky,
yeah.
That's not great. All right. After the shock has worn off, gosh, coming in at number 2, The Gang.
No, that makes sense.
I really want to play the gang, and I sit here and I stare at it all the time, and I know that it's not that hard to play, and I'm always like, maybe we just push Gillian down and take it home.
Wow, we could just ask to play it. I mean,
Well, no, that's not how that works on our Shelf of Shame. All right. Game number 1, appearing on 3 out of the 4 lists. Reed, you're excited.
I think I know what it is.
What is it?
No, if I'm wrong, I'll be embarrassed. Is it Weather Machine?
It's Weather Machine.
Yeah.
Yes. Coming in on 3 of the
Becky.
lists.
Is it not on your list?
Angela.
It's not on my list.
Wow.
Yeah. There were actually, Gillian had called it. He said, well, we're going to submit these and I'm sure nothing's going to overlap. And actually, to your credit, you were mostly right. We had very few games that overlapped. The games on the list that did not make duplicates, Civolution, Unmatched Tales to Amaze, Freelancers, Deep Regrets, Joyride, On Mars, Voidfall, Federation, Crusaders Thy Will Be Done, Troyes, and Art Society.
You didn't have Federation on your list? I'm shocked, Becky.
No, but I feel like most of my games were on the list that Angela just read.
Becky didn't know what games were on the Shelf of Shame, so she just listed things that
That's
came
not
to
true.
her
I
mind.
looked at the list.
Due to a last-minute ad by Gillian, Tales of Arthurian Knights ended up coming in 4th. It appeared on both Becky and Gillian's list, but
Yeah.
I was surprised by the fact that we do not have universal consensus about what we would want to play other than Weather Machine.
I did want to put On Mars, and then I was like, oh, that's too obvious.
Well, it's weird because I ended up choosing a lot of my all of mine were my own games.
Yeah, geez,
so,
Gillian, selfish.
I almost put On Mars, but I assumed other people were going to put On Mars.
Wait, so who else put On Mars?
I did.
Yay!
And yeah,
I
I'm
want
really
to play that game.
I'm super excited about both the Lacerda games, and I thought for sure that those 2 were going to be number 1 and number 2 because I thought we would all be excited about
I wanted to put
Lacerda.
other people's games too. I felt greedy putting 2 of my games on here.
Oh, you should have done that.
I gotta tell you, Freelancers just barely knocked out my game number 6. This is gonna surprise you. Fast and the Furious.
Wow.
I know. I kind of was like looking at the list being like, what of these games make me interested? And Fast and the Furious. I kind of just want to play it so I can like rag on it.
I want to play it too, but the how to play video is like 35 minutes.
Yeah, I'm also fascinated by that.
Not on double speed.
I can't handle learning a game on single speed.
Yeah, an interesting mix of games. And I think that whole piece leads me into this other question of like, why don't we get these games played? I mean, we have 66 of them. That's a lot. But what makes it so that you don't look at that shelf and say, I'm going to pick a game a week and I'm just going to learn it and I'm going to play it. And then it would be a respectable list that was not in double digits.
We've never had this many unplayed games in our household, so I would say these are unprecedented times. However, Gillian and I used to play a lot of games together all the time. 2019 and 2018, we were playing between 200 and 300 games. I don't know how many were just the 2 of us, but a lot. And we just have not picked that back up since the pandemic. I think we both got very sad, and then like everything was hard, and instead of really like leaning into board games and playing more, we definitely found more like video games and Magic as like comforting kind of things to do. So we don't have as much energy, or we don't make enough energy. Is there a board game for that?
Yeah, I wish. And so that aspect is really the tough one, is just coming home from work at 4 or 5 o'clock and just being tired, needing to make dinner and needing to take the dog for a walk. And then by the time it's all said and done, it's just, we're both exhausted. We just want to kind of zone out and play video games. And so I think that became a habit for us rather than our previous habit of playing board games. And so that's something that Becky and I kind of aimed to improve this year, and we haven't quite done it. We've picked up games a few times during the week and played a little bit, but haven't established it as a habit again. So that has definitely leaned into our current situation of 45 unplayed games.
Well, I think, we get together at least once a week, and sometimes we record, but most of the times we play games, and sometimes we play a new game every time we play, and that's also hard. We picked Root back up the other day, and it was so nice to play a game that we at least had like the bones of remembering how to play. And there are so many games that I see, I'm like, Brass Birmingham is right behind Gillian, and I'm like, oh, I would love to play that sometime soon.
Yeah, that's what I find is the kind of impeding. I've been looking at my shelf of shame a lot this week, mostly because we're recording on this podcast, and so I'm looking at them, and I feel like I have a mental block because right now I'm really devoted to wanting to play Galactic Cruise more, and I feel like I'm in that mindset. So if I pick up a new game and start learning that's something more than maybe a small box game, I'm going to feel like I'm not doing Galactic Cruise the justice it deserves, and that's a big box, expensive game. And so I want to play that some more so I feel comfortable. Like already I know I need to do a rules refresher and double check everything before we play it again later this week. And so because it feels like, you have tabs open on your computer, and I have a really big tab open right now for Galactic Cruise, which means I don't have the space to play or learn Unmatched Tales to Amaze, which is what I really like. I keep looking at that box being like, I wanted this game so bad, and it sounded so much fun, and I want us to play a co-op adventure where we like are superheroes battling things, but I can't until I close this tab that's Galactic Cruise. And then Galactic Cruise will just move into this space where we say, man, I wish we were playing Galactic Cruise more. I wish we were playing Root more. And so it's a really weird kind of cycle to be in. But every time we then play a new game, I'm super excited. Like we played Endeavor Deep Sea, and I was like, this is awesome. And then Becky and I for lunch, what did we play?
Schottentotten.
Schottentotten. And I was like, Schottentotten was so much fun. I want to play that game again. And so I have so much fun when I then learn a new game and I put it in my repertoire, but it kind of feels like a mental block.
Yeah, and we talk about this a lot. Well, we used to. We don't talk about it so much. But as Reed was kind of getting at is, playing new games versus revisiting old games. It's always hard to strike that balance, especially when we're trying to record an episode on a specific game. And we tend to lean towards ones that are newer, just because we're very excited about them and we record on them. But there's a backlog of games we could record on, just older ones that we've played multiple times, some classics, and just haven't really done that. We tend to get caught in the cult of the new to us in a way, which I enjoy. I enjoy exploring new games, but yeah, to that point, there is a lot of joy to be had just revisiting your collection and playing through those again.
I can't wait to play Fast and the Furious.
If you take one thing out of this, it's that Reed and I will play Fast and the Furious before the year ends.
And baseball highlights.
I am pretty impressed that the top 3 were all on my list.
Oh, wow. You get a gold star. Well, yeah.
You get it when you get to half of your unplayed
Yeah,
games.
once you've played half of your shelf of shame.
Or just on Mars.
Or your bed of shame. Oh, that sounds bad.
Oh, no.
The games are under my bed.
So we have all of these games. Is there anything, as we've been talking about it, that, we kind of wanted to hold ourselves accountable by having this episode and talking about it, and then, encourage you guys, send us a note on Instagram or Blue Sky, shoot us an email and be like, how do you deal with your shelf of shame? Do you have them? Do we have a serious problem? Don't answer that. We already do. But what does that look like for you, and what brings you excitement and joy when you play games? And so the question I also have for the rest of us is like, have you learned anything, or is there anything you want to think about, or are you like, yeah, this is just what it is and I'm totally fine with it?
Where we're at in our household right now, I feel it's a little overwhelming because there isn't a ton of room for all of the games that have come in. Gillian has worked magic and made it work, but he also has our board games shelves, so the games face outward, which is really beautiful, but then I don't know what's behind it, and I haven't taken any ownership of the reorganization, so I don't know what's behind what, or what Gillian's method was for where he put things, other than I think the last one was just I had to move things around to make all the space for any of the games that I put in. So that's definitely some of what I've been feeling. And I also don't know what some of the games are about, so I'm not like excited to play them or interested in playing them. And they do keep surprising me. One that I'm looking at right now is Cyclades, which we used to own, or Cyclades. And I didn't realize Gillian had repurchased it. He had like talked about it, and then we talked about it, and he decided he wasn't going to. And then he brought it up again, and I saw him like reading about it on his computer, and I was like, "You're not getting that right." And he's like, "No, I'm just looking." And now here it is, which it is a good game, and I think we'll enjoy playing it. It's one that I think he regretted getting rid of, but it just cracks me up.
Yeah, part of my goals had been to get a lot of games on my shelf played. And I did that really well. I got a bunch of them played, but then I said, I won't buy more until I've played them. And then I played them, so then I bought more. And I'm in this weird predicament where now I'm running out of space. Like, I think my shelves are actually full, and I still have 5 more games on Kickstarter coming in. So I need to play the games I have, because I really need to either find more space in my house, which my girlfriend will not like, or I need to figure out what is the collection that I want and where are the gaps that I have, and do I have things that bring me similar levels of joy that I need to not have. And maybe that's not the thing, and I should keep them all, but I need to stop buying games and play the ones I have so that I can feel really proud at the 2026 New Year's resolution that I've played them.
Yeah, one thing I've learned through this is there is such a thing as too many heavy games. A decent number of my shelf of shame are heavier games, and like Voidfall, Weather Machine, Civolution. So there's some pretty beefy games in there that two of those I've actually opened up and started reading the rule books. And Weather Machine I've actually set up twice. Was going to play it solo to get used to it, and then life got in the way. I don't know, I went through a period of depression or something like that and just didn't have the energy to do it. And then I ended up putting it away. And so it's not for lack of trying, it's just I found them in the mind space as I was trying to learn them to be a little overwhelming, and so then I just didn't go through with it. But yeah, I definitely have some heavier games that are kind of just sitting there waiting to be learned.
Yeah, and I really want to strike a better balance between heavy Lacerdas and light games, and games that don't have high rules overhead with ones that do. Like Hegemony laughs at me because I know it's going to have a lot, and yeah, it's a hard balance.
There was a while where we were playing heavier games, and then all of a sudden we all switched to lighter games, and I think we just needed that headspace. It was a little bit different.
Yeah, but now my brain doesn't know how to learn heavy games anymore.
I feel very confident in my shelf of shame. Like, I have a few that, we were planning on getting to the table, like Power Grid. I know that we're going to play relatively soon, and then a couple with my kiddo. I think for me, like, On Mars is probably the one that, even though I've dived into learning a little bit, like, that takes all of us being on board, learning it. It's not like it's just popping up and being like, hey, it's Captain Flip, we can all play this. It's going to be like an investment.
Yeah, I think that's what you do really well, Reed, is that your shelf of shame isn't very big because you constantly get those games played, or you purchase games notoriously that you've already played because somebody owns it within the group. And so I'm looking at Pray Another Day, which I own, then we played, and then you can open it up. And I feel like you buy a game and then immediately play it with somebody you know. And so I feel like you're doing Shelf of Shame the right way, which is like, I have one heavy game and then the rest are these other ones, plus Fast and the Furious. So kudos to you.
To be fair, we tried to do that with other games. Like, I'm thinking of like Power Grid. We had talked about playing, and we had it scheduled, and then Angela had to cancel, and then we were like, well, maybe it's probably not best with 3 players. We should wait until Angela's here to play. And so there have been a couple instances of late where life has just gotten in the way for us, and so we've had to back out of some of the new games, and we fall back to games we've already played, and so our shelf of shame hasn't decreased as a result.
We got to play more games together.
I know. Reed got a new job. It's really bumming us all out.
Yeah, Reed, your job is bumming us out.
Stop.
Well, now she's like, oh,
Trying to spend time with her family.
well, that, and also she isn't trying to get us to play on Friday when she doesn't have to work or didn't have to work in the past. Now she has to work 5 days a week, and it's rough. It's rough wearing pants.
Every day.
It is so bad. I want to go home and take these off.
The games still bring me a lot of excitement. Like, I know we have quite a few games, and we are balancing wanting to play the games that we love that are on the shelf, like Brass Birmingham and Root and things like that, but also like wanting to play new versions. Like, thinking about number one on my list was Civolution. Like, I'm still really excited, and I was super excited when Gillian bought it. Like, not excited because I wanted to buy it, but excited because I wanted to play it, and then was happy Gillian bought it. So I know that I am egging that on as well, for sure. But also, I would like to benefit and play that game. So, yeah.
Since you brought up Civolution, that was one of the games that I saw the twinkle in Gillian's eye whenever he talked about it or was looking at it. And that was one we talked about too. And I was like, I don't know. I don't think so. Looking at the photos, like, I don't think it looks particularly beautiful. But I also think at this point, because I've been so anti-Civolution and then he bought it anyways, I do think that I'm probably going to really enjoy that game. And so now I also just have to like dig my heels in a little, like, this game. So some of it's ego that gets in the way of playing games. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, you used to hate Brass before you even played it.
I don't
Like, what is
remember.
this Industrial Revolution game? This looks so dry.
I don't remember that.
That's exactly what you sound like.
Yeah, Becky, you are the most judgmental of all of us about a game. You are, like, cutthroat in your feelings.
Does it have an animal in it? Cross this off.
Yeah, in fact, Reed is also just as bad. I would say that me and Gillian are the nice ones. In fact, Gillian is the nicest, most like, I had a great time playing that game. And everyone's like, screw this game.
Yeah, Earth. Jeez.
Well, no, that was a bad game.
Well,
I didn't mind it all that much.
You were wrong.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was so, I mean, it's just interesting. Like, Gillian is the one who I would think would be the most discerning in terms of, like, his opinion about a game, because I feel like he has strong feelings about, like, oh, I don't like this, I don't want to do that. And, yeah, every time he's like, oh, well,
it was not bad.
glad we played it.
Every once in a while, there's a game that gets me, though, like Far Away. Oh, I couldn't handle Far Away. I don't know what it was about that game.
Is it just because you didn't get it and you needed to play it again?
No, I knew how to play it. It was very hard to, like, do anything about the luck that was in the game to mitigate it.
Which is very fascinating. This is a side tangent, guys, but this is kind of why I think Shelf of Shames are interesting, because the Dice Tower just reviewed Deep Regrets, and one of their things was it is 10,000%, lots of random, lots of luck. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to play this game, because Gillian hates too much luck-based games. Unless you're having a fun time with it and it's silly Billy, then he's all in for the luck. But I was like, ooh, I wonder what this will be. So I'm like kind of just waiting to see, because Deep Regrets is on the Shelf of Shame.
I think the theme there will carry it for me. Like, yeah. And yeah, the fishing and catching random fish and going mad.
So you're the sea game.
Deep Regrets, that was on my list.
Oh. Geez, I was going to say something regarding how did we get here? But I forget.
Well, it all started when I went to a library conference.
It's true.
Yeah.
And I'm glad.
One of the things that I think could really help us too, that I lament, and I think I've brought this up for sure before, is I really wish our area had a better board game sharing system. The library has games that you can check out and share. Of course, a lot of those games are ones that we've helped recommend and that we've already played. But I wish there was a better system. Like, I would more than willing to pay $5, $10 and have a system where I could check something out, play it, see how I felt about it, and then return it, and then make a buying decision based off that. And I know that's what, like, conventions are for, and I think it's just, maybe I just need to be more bold at conventions and say, that's okay, you don't need to play that, you can go play that later.
I really, really want to play Sky Team, but I don't want to buy it because you guys don't like it. And so I think that that's an opportunity of how do I find somebody to play Sky Team so I don't have to buy it.
But Reed, if I said I really do like Sky Team and you should probably get it so we could play it, now I'm egging you on to go buy Sky Team.
I know, and then I just got excited. Are you serious? No, you're just mocking me.
No, I did like that game. I don't think you should buy it, though. We should find it at a convention and play it.
Okay.
I did have a thought going back to the question of what have you learned in this whole process. I've learned that I've deviated from my rule, I think, from purchasing a year ago, where whenever I bought a game, one of the big considerations for me is it has to play well at 2 players. Since Board Game Homies has come into being and we've been together for a year and a half at this point, I've definitely broken that. I bought a lot of trick takers that are 3 or more players. I've purchased games that are not great at 2, like Cyclades isn't great at 2. And so I've definitely broken that rule that I followed for a while there, which I think expanded what I was looking at quite a bit. And which is probably why we're in the current predicament.
See,
Partly.
Told you this podcast was a bad idea.
But we'll also help you get them played.
Yes. Hopefully. Maybe it'll take a couple years, but we'll get there.
Friendship. It's because of the friendship.
Thank you for listening to Board Game Homies. Drop us a line on our Instagram, Blue Sky, or Board Game Geek at Board Game Homies. Bye-bye.
Gross.
We can't end on that sappy note.
I was like, what a great note to end on.
Me too, Angela, because we're not monsters.
Thank you, Becky.
You're the
They're
biggest
not- you guys
monster, Becky.
Okay. Why are you looking at me like that?
Because you are. See, Reed's not saying anything. She knows it's true.
That's like what Becky sounds like.
She was down there just.
I'm not a turkey.
Some would beg to differ.
I would. You sounded like a turkey.
They are mean to you, Becky.
Thank you.
Rude.
You missed a whole 45 minutes of them being rude.
All I hear is.
We could have been playing a game in that time.
That's true. I was cooking dinner.
She cooks. She sounds like a
We
turkey.
just mocked her the whole time.
Wow. Rude.